boys and girls. It's when we feel like it o'clock. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're watching the Pearl of Wisdom show. My NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Yeah, we had a great night of hockey last night, and we have the prize here today,
Hmm.
man. Peyton from Peyton on the radio. Everybody go and subscribe. Let's do this. Yeah, Perlo Dance, Perlo Dance, Perlo Dance. Hockey News Reports is in the house.
Hey, my boy. How's it going, bud?
Joey Serrano is in the house. Awesome. Glad you guys popped by. Um, it's uh, it's kind of like a weird feeling now after trade deadline. Like there's this little bit of morose, like not morose, but it's like it's over now. Okay, we're moving on. Now we're focusing on the
Playoffs.
real stuff, the playoff stuff that's going on. We were talking before we got started here on the likelihood the North is really the only that division's pretty much set, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty much set. Unfortunately, with the Vancouver Canucks, going with all their COVID problems that they've been having. Sadly, I don't think they'll be able to bounce back. I heard Quinn Hughes was pretty sick. JT Miller came out. And he said that the Canucks are not even ready for tomorrow's game. So I feel like things are gonna slowly go downhill there for Vancouver, which is kind of sad. And Calgary, they haven't been the greatest team in the world over the past little bit. So I feel like the Canadian division's practically locked in unless the Calgary Flames go on some sort of a bender here in the next little bit. But I really don't see that happening. You're most likely just gonna see the swapping of seeds and seeing who's gonna get that that home ice advantage. So I think that's what's going to be the main focus over this next little bit, especially with the North Division.
Yeah, Montreal, even though they don't really have anybody chasing them right now, they got to get their game together there. Um, this last loss against Calgary was a really bad loss. You
Yeah,
shouldn't be losing to a Calgary team who's pretty much out of it on a back to back
no.
against from it went into overtime against Toronto and flew there. Now I'll give them that they didn't have many games before that, so they did have some energy, more energy than you normally would do on a
And
back to back.
also they were facing the Flames on a back to back as well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
oh yeah.
Montreal, like Flames were on a back to back. That was a game you gotta win.
Yeah, you do. That is a real
You,
big game that you gotta win, especially letting 4 goals against on the Calgary Flames. Like, you got to be able to shut down, right? You just brought in, I mean, they haven't been able to play there yet, but you're upgrading that defensive category, which hopefully Morel and Gustin will help that, but will it? You know, in the game against the Calgary Flames, especially on a back to back, you need to win that game. But I did hear that Carey Price is injured, so they're looking like they're going to be mostly relying on Jake Allen here in the next little bit as well. So we'll see how that turns out to be for the Montreal Canadiens. Also, Hockey News Report, I should be doing a live stream this weekend on one of the two Oilers games, either the one tomorrow or the one on Saturday, just all dependent on when the games, if there's going to be a game tomorrow or whatever. So hopefully there is tomorrow because I'll do a live stream tomorrow on the Canucks game, but I'm hoping there's not because I'd rather not see the Canucks play during COVID right now, especially the way that they are. I think there's only 9 players that came off the COVID list yesterday. I don't know how many are going to come off the list today.
hey Mercer, welcome to the
Ayo.
live, buddy. So yeah, yeah. I mean that's just what a rough season. In the end, it may work out well for them because they really need help on their defense there, and there's a lot of really good defensemen available in this draft. Um, that'll probably work out well, but I, I haven't been really wholly on the get rid of Benning bandwagon until this year.
I
This year, I'm wholly on the get rid
the
of
I
Benning
don't know what the heck is going on there with Benning. Like honestly, Benning with signing Tanner Pearson to a pretty bad contract, enticing Tanner Pearson instead of signing Tyler Toffoli, which is what he should have done in the first place. It is very weird what Jim Benning's doing there in Vancouver, and he's slowly riding the team into the ground. It was supposed to be a rebuild, but then they tried to sped up the rebuild. Now they kind of screwed themselves in the end with this going into this cap hell that they're going to be going into. Especially still having to sign Pedersen and Quinn Hughes under a very tight cap when most likely the cap will not be going up. It's going to be a very difficult time there in Vancouver. And I've been on the bandwagon since the day he was starting to sign all those bad contracts with Beagle. I thought, this year I thought he was a little bit on the uptrend. I'm like, okay, I see some very positive moves here from Benning, even though he made a couple screw ups. But now I'm just like, yeah, I don't think he knows what he's doing as a GM out there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, his drafting and development hasn't been bad, I suppose. I mean, sometimes a bit lucky in some cases with
Oh,
Yo
breaking
Levy.
news. Sorry to cut you off there. Breaking news. I think the Oilers Canucks game tomorrow has been postponed.
Yeah,
Jason Grigor got confirmation from a high-ranking NHL source saying that Edmonton is not flying to Vancouver today. So,
Gregor. Yeah, that
yeah.
that doesn't surprise me. So I don't know what's going to happen there. That's going to be tough to make up these games. Bowtie hype, Sasha.
Oh.
Sasha's in the house. Welcome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do there, but like I said, Vancouver as a team. Now we were talking a bit before the broadcast, and we might as well talk about it now. I made two mistakes on my who was going to make the playoff side, and looking back on it, uh, I really don't like. I have a tendency to overvalue young teams,
Mm-hmm.
and this was not the year to do that. I really should have thought about that. When you're
Yeah.
going through everything that they're going to be going through with COVID, a condensed schedule, all that kind of stuff like that, it's not really. That's not really conducive for a young team to be able to have success.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had the LA Kings, but I had the LA Kings. Steel, how you doing? I had the LA
Hey.
Kings making it this year. Um, One team that I was on though that still could make it. Also a young team. Not saying that they were going to make it, but I really thought that they could make a good push, and it looks like they are. Is the Rangers?
Yeah.
Um, they're looking. One of the reasons is Shesterkin is back. Looks like he's back to where he was before when they made the push last year.
Hmm. Yeah, they're only a couple points back of the Boston Bruins right now. After everything that's kind of happened, Pernard's been playing some great hockey. Adam Fox, he's putting up a Norris campaign right now. I know a lot of analytic people absolutely love Adam Fox just because his analytics look insane. I don't know why Drew Doughty's on top of the rankings for the Norris. Adam Fox should be the top of the rankings for the Norris. And you're right. Shesterkin has been having some great numbers. I mean, really getting back into that form. I think he just had his first career shutout not that long ago either. So Shesterkin's really been a great goalie, and the Rangers have time right now to jump into a playoff spot. They're only 4 points back of the Bruins right now, and the Bruins, they've been off and on. And like, if that Taylor Hall deal doesn't end up being a good deal for the Boston Bruins, I think the Rangers could possibly steal that fourth spot in that division if
Yeah.
they continue to play some really good hockey and have that good goaltending from Shesterkin. Sadly, I let him go on my fantasy. He had a really poor start to the season. I don't know why I dropped him, but anyways, I think the Rangers do have a possibility of making it into a playoff spot and knocking out the Boston Bruins of that spot as well.
Yeah. Hockey News Reports brought up a good question here. If Jim Benning gave you 3.5 million for, did he say the amount of
15
years?
points. Yeah,
For
if you put up
15.
about 15 points and Jim Benning gives you 3.5, would you do it or would you go for the Avs for 1.5 million? I think, I mean, depends on what type of person you are, if you're money or you're Stanley Cup hungry. If you're Stanley Cup hungry and Joe Sakic's handing you a contract, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going with Colorado without a doubt because and then he knows I'm good analytically or something because I'm going to Colorado and playing some good hockey with Nate McKinnon and trying to go for that cup.
Yeah. I don't know. You're talking about your family here. You maybe never get that much money in Colorado.
Nope.
What one thing I will say about since you brought it up, Colorado has been very Sakic's brilliant.
Oh,
And what he does is he has a actual pays people. to help players invest their money and promote themselves so they can make money outside of their salary.
I really
Um,
like what, Colorado has going on there. Their analytic department, just everything that they got going on there is just a picture perfect organization. The way that they
yeah,
play on the ice and the way that they are off the ice is picture perfect. This is what I wish, the Edmonton Oilers can be as a fan. Because you watch the Colorado Avalanche and they play like such a good, great game. They look like they're enjoying themselves and they have a good competent GM. Just everything that they do is just absolutely brilliance out there, especially every deal that they do. They stole
Bill.
Devon Taves, and he's been amazing
Oh,
this year.
I could. We've talked Colorado and how amazing they've done. Like, and I don't know how anybody didn't identify Taves as a top two when he was playing for the Islanders. I mean, it was quite obvious he was going to be a top two defenseman.
Hmm.
I remember when back in, but first I want to say Bill talked about how he's excited to see Rask in net for the Bruins tonight, and I agree. I think that team is not the same without Rask and net. I mean, no team would be. Not too many teams would be.
No,
Rask is an amazing goaltender, and I've heard people give him like he's had a couple little bit of downs through his career, but I mean, who hasn't? He's brilliant. But what was I talking about? I wanted to mention.
you were talking about the Colorado Avalanche there and their investing in their money and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It was after that.
Oh,
Can't remember what it was. Geez, it was something really good too. Can't remember what it was. I got off track. Um,
yeah, but I
oh
wish,
yeah, that's what it was. I was talking about Tays.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. When Toronto was working out their cap situation, I proposed the idea of trading Nylander to the Islanders, and for a package of Tays, Bailey, and a pick. And I got blasted by Toronto fans for that. Like, why would it? Tays is like a Taves is like a top six guy. I'm like, what do you? Taves is going to be a 1-2. What are you talking
See,
about? You guys need
I
you
definitely would
guys
have
need
done
defensemen
Taves.
like crazy.
The thing is with, Lamorello, he was, marketing Taves pretty low. So what I would have almost done, because Bailey, his analytics are kind of like they're pretty trash. And with that one, I think I would go with Taves, somebody else, and a pick for Nylander. I think that's the way I would go with that one. But Devon Taves would be an absolute steal for Toronto. It's just, that's a problem with a lot of people nowadays. People don't really look at analytics or like still like, oh, eye test, eye test, eye test. But the thing is, like, you could do both eye test and analytics, right? You could look at analytics and be like, oh yeah, this is what my eye test, or be like, oh, actually, yeah, I could kind of see that he plays very bad defense, even though I think he might be playing good defense. His analytics are showing me that he's actually not doing that. And a lot of
Yeah,
fans, I see people constantly argue with me about like, this player can't play bad defense. And I'm like, all right, here's the stat. Take a look. He can. Or
yeah,
like, oh, but my eye test shows that he can. I'm like,
yeah.
no.
It so happens that usually the eye test for me pans out on analytics,
Yeah.
because I think, and I'm not putting any fans down. I mean, we got really good fans here.
Oh
Like
yeah, without a
smart,
doubt.
smart, smart fans that come in here. They know already. But I think a lot of times, fans are just like to see the big hits and all. When they're watching a game, they notice that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's understandable. Just like what's his name in Edmonton, block shots for days. Russell.
Yeah.
You know, you love to see a guy put his body out like that for his team. But let's face it, Russell's not a great defenseman overall. Um,
And block shots
but
don't win you games.
well, I mean, if you're going to play in your end a lot, you better block shots.
Yeah.
That's the one good thing with Russell. I mean, not one. He's got his first pass out of the zone isn't bad, um, but he's just way too defensive. He plays way too deep in the zone. He doesn't pinch at the right times. So that's where his major
And you know what?
problem
Know
is.
what a perfect example is of a team that, doesn't really need to block shots and how block shots are kind of just, a stat that you really don't need is the Colorado Avalanche. You look at their team, they have two guys that Graves and Taves, who are the most block shots, 77 and 69 for both Graves and Taves. everyone else very low numbers in block shots. And I
Yeah.
was seeing like some stats saying that Colorado probably won't win the cup because of the small defensive core or whatever it is. They need big D to win a cup, which I don't think you do. You could win a cup any way you need it, and I think Colorado is a perfect example. If they do win a cup, I think you're going to see a lot of these teams start relying on a smaller defense core, and also Colorado Avalanche is just a perfect example of using analytics smartly. Their entire team is positive towards analytics. Every single defenseman that they got on the team is for
Mm-hmm.
a reason. They put
Yeah.
them together for a
Yeah.
reason. And
Yeah.
everybody in that forward core is put together for a reason because they are
Yeah.
analytics darlings there in Colorado. And I absolutely love the way that they put together the lines. Now, Devin Dubnyk was the smartest bet, but, when you take a look, I mean, there wasn't very much goalie options out there in the end of the day, anyways.
Yeah, when I was looking at that Nylander trade, don't get me wrong, I think Nylander still can be an excellent winger. It's nothing against Nylander. It was simply for cap reasons to
Yeah, that too.
find some depth in their organization because defense was going to be a problem down the road. Now they kept Nylander and they work on it. And I have a lot of respect for Dubas as well. I think he's a genius. I think he's a very bright guy, and I'm sure
Hmm.
he's got an awesome plan. I just threw it out there as a really good option if they weren't going to be able to build enough depth around their organization based on the fact that they were so top heavy on their contracts. So
Yeah.
um, Gerard is, yeah, I'm like, what a great trade that was. You could go on and on with what Colorado has done.
Oh,
It's
but
amazing.
you could really like you could
It's
dissect every trade that they've done. Every trade that they have done, they won. Their entire defense core is amazing. Also,
mhm.
hockey news reports. So if you were with the Avs and you out, let's say 60 points, and you finish your ELC, here comes the Sabres, and they offer you an $8 million deal. Would you accept it, or the or Avs with six? I think I would still take the Avs with
I think I'd
six.
stay the Avs because, like I said, they have a really solid team. It's like the first.
And they could build up
Uh,
my value by just
it's
being on
the
that good team.
it's the first organization that has worked on that has actually hired staff to help players promote themselves so they can get sponsorship and invest their money in such a way that they'll make way more than they will in their salary anyways. So that's brilliant. That is genius. And that's Joe Sakic. What a brilliant man.
Sasha,
Anyways,
doesn't Taves and Maker play together? I think that's the defensive, unless Gerard does
yeah,
play with Taves. But Taves and Maker, I think, is the best defensive pairing in the NHL without a
I
doubt.
do. I
Without a
totally agree
doubt.
with you.
You look
Totally
at
agree
you
with
look
you.
at the analytics, they are without a doubt the best defensive pairing. Like I heard Jay Fresh, who's a guy that I pay for my analytics, great guy, and he said that his first defensive pairing for Team Canada would be Taves and Makar because
Mm.
they have just the skills to be a top pairing guys, and they are. And the way that they got Taves for like what was it, $4.1 million for the next couple of years, like how?
Absolute steal.
How did he get
Because
that?
they could have actually used statistics to say, you're a top four, so we'll pay you a top four and we'll give you this much now. And he looks at it with his agent. They can't really argue. So then you have to ask yourself, do you want to take a short-term deal, and then go for the higher salary afterwards,
Yeah.
or just take this? And they decided to take it, and maybe it's underselling themselves. But like I said, they're well known to be able to do that. Look at McKinnon. He's making 6 point something a year. Like,
Oh,
what?
it, it, it
Crazy.
it's insane. It really is insane. Like I feel like, especially just watching the Colorado games too, they just look like a menace out there. And this is why, I'm not a big fan of seeing the older GMs, use their old brain to try to build a team together full of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Analytics are the way to go with building teams now. And I think that's just the way that you should start building teams
Yeah.
in this generation. You're getting
Yeah.
so much analytics on the table, but these old GMs are like, no, we're not going to use that. Analytics are the most useful thing, gets you what the player actually is instead of just using your eye test and scouting them. These
Yeah.
analytics are actually showing you what they're going to be, and that's what Colorado has. They barely need to scout. They pick up great defensemen, and they have a great team that they put together. It's amazing.
If you had Sutter or Julian as your head coach, I actually Julian's teams have strong analytics, and Sutter's team in LA had strong analytics. Yeah, just because a guy's old doesn't, he Sutter really understands the game as well. He has a very simple way of playing. That's why it appears that he's just some old school block shots, don't type of guy, but he's not. LA has had great analytics, and when Julian left Boston, Boston had the best analytics in the league.
And
So
defense wins you cups. Look at Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz, Sutter doesn't coach the same way as Trotz, but Sutter plays a very, defensive game. So when it comes down to coaching, I love both Sutter or Julian. I like the both of them. But I do think, Sutter, what he's doing there in Calgary is good. It's just they don't have the right corporate players to, make that push to the Stanley Cup
yeah, yeah. That I'd have to say that that McKinnon contract is the best contract in the league
oh,
off the top of my head.
without a doubt. I don't think there's any
Yeah,
other contract that matches that one. He's a top
I
two
don't
player
even
in the
think you got
league.
to go look really.
He's a top two player in the league, and he's making like $6.4 million compared to McDavid, who's number one. He's making 12.5, right?
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
Anyways, we better get to the games from last night. We got our.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at our games, see who got points. We also hockey news reports. Make sure you're subscribing to HNR, man. He's got great stuff, and he's just a great guy.
Heck yeah.
He does this work for me. He doesn't ask for anything in return. Amazing dude. And he's set up the points so we know who's in first and all that. And we'll be looking at that after the break. And then we'll be going into our picks for tomorrow. And through the whole thing, of course, we're going to be talking hockey.
Perfect.
All hockey all the time here at Pearls of Wisdom Industries, boys and girls. Okay.
Woo.
Yeah. Let's look at the games. Do I have? Yeah, I do have it up here. Okay.
Arizona
I,
versus Minnesota, I think the first game was.
yeah, we didn't do that one, but we can talk about that one because it was already going during the show.
Oh,
So,
oh yeah, because it was an early game, wasn't it?
yeah, and
It was like real early.
we'll talk about it a little bit here. Minnesota, what a great comeback game after losing to St. Louis twice. That was
Zach
really
Parise, wow, he was on
Zach
fire
Parise.
that night too. He was playing really good. I was watching the highlights. I didn't watch the game sadly, but I watched some of the highlights of the game and they were buzzing, man. They were all over Arizona. I think this was Arizona's fifth loss in a row as well.
Yeah,
But I've been loving the way one player I've been really loving for the Minnesota Wild has been Matt Zuccarello. He's been insane for them this year. 28 games, he's had 24 points this season. He has just been playing off the wall this year for the Minnesota Wild and Kaprizov as well. I mean, Kaprizov's just been amazing. And shout out to
yeah,
my boy Cam Talbot. He had another great night as well against the
yeah. We
Arizona
we
Coyotes.
called that, didn't we? We said
Me and
Talbot
you,
was going to
I
have a great year.
well, I
Yeah,
knew like you Cam Talbot's a good good player. He's a good goalie. He knows what to do. It's just when he got overplayed, he had those kind of like a hangover year with the Calgary Flames, and then this year he's really been buzzing, and he's also playing in front of a great defensive core as well.
uh-huh.
And the way that the Arizona Coyotes played, they just got shelled. They really did.
Yeah,
They didn't shoot. I mean, they outshot the Minnesota Wild, but Minnesota Wild was 3 for 3 on the power play last night.
yeah,
3 for 3 on the power play. They were stellar
yeah.
offensively, and they played a great game. Honestly,
And Ranta was in net too, so it
yeah, he
wasn't.
was.
Yeah,
He
uh,
got shelled out there.
Arizona's game is what Minnesota is, and
Yeah,
Minnesota's got way better players to play it, so they're
yeah,
going to win most of the time. I think. I mean, good. Rick Tocchet has those guys playing about as best as you possibly can, as good as you possibly can, but they just don't have the talent in there. It's going to take a while for them to build up talent there in Arizona. Somebody was it Hockey News Reports? Stolar's for MVP. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Uh, but I will be scared to tell John at Off the Wall if the Bruins ended up getting Mike
Matheson.
Matheson. He is so pissed off at Matheson. Yeah, Pittsburgh has done a great job with them, though. They're getting the best out of him. I'd like to see his analytics this year, and Cece's as well. Um, Sullivan is a fantastic coach. You just
Actually, CC's been
can't
making a
do.
little bit of a redemption tour this year. Analytically, he's
Yeah,
actually been playing a little bit better than what he had in past years. Funny enough,
I know.
Matheson,
I've been watching them
Matheson not so
specifically.
much, but
Not so much. Okay, I've been watching them specifically, and CC has really impressed me. He's simplified his game. He's playing more of a defensive type game, and like Brady Shea in Carolina,
like he's still
really
not great
reinvented.
analytically, but defensively, he's a great defensive defenseman right now. He's been putting up some great defensive numbers. Same with last year. Like last year defensively, he didn't put up too bad numbers.
Yeah,
This year he's a little bit down, but still he's putting up some great defensive defenseman numbers.
yeah, and that's what he's turned himself into, and that's what CC needs to turn himself into more. Okay,
Matheson on the other hand's been kind of
let's let's go into the next one. This we already talked
yes.
about this. This was a bad loss by Montreal, really bad. You cannot. There's no excuse for this. I watched the game too, and you can't be out hustled by a Calgary team that has a lot of issues in their room. Now Sutter is a great motivator, so I'll give him that. But you lose the game, that's one thing. But they were out hustled all over the ice, and in that spot where they were, that is inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, especially right now, you don't have, the Flames are not that far behind you guys, like it's 4 points back. The Flames are right now on a 3 game winning streak right now. And this was one of the teams I said at the start of the video, the stream today, was that, if this team goes on a bender, the Montreal Canadiens could totally be out of it right now, and the Flames could squeak their way into that playoff spot. Now, the Canadiens do have 3 games on hand, so they have 3 extra games, so they should be fine. But you never know. You never know in this spot that we're at. If Markstrom starts playing really good, which he was last night, and that was one of the games where the Canadiens just really did not play their best game, and they got outplayed by the Flames.
Yeah,
Um, which you really don't want. Like they had Hannafin, Giordano, Levo, and Monahan all score goals, which all those guys have been struggling to score goals this year,
yeah,
and you all allowed all 4 of those guys to score on you. I mean, the
yeah.
Montreal Canadiens do a great job of defending against Connor McDavid, but when it comes to everyone else, it seems like they are not able to. And it was evident in this game
Yeah.
um,
There was a
that
lot of missed responsibilities and stuff like that in that
yeah,
game. And Allen can't play this much either. He just can't.
no,
They
I mean
need to get
they're gonna
Price back.
miss Carey Price a lot over this next little bit. Like he's gonna be a big miss in the lineup for the team,
Yeah,
not having him as their goalie. I mean Jake Allen's a good 1B guy. He could play occasionally, but they need Carey Price. But I mean, even then, Carey Price hasn't been having a fantastic year either. Even with him being out of the lineup, he hasn't been the greatest. A 903, 266. I mean, Jake Allen's been having better numbers than him
yeah,
this
that's
year.
true.
So
That's the big problem there. Let's look at okay. The score was 4-1, right?
yeah, 4-1.
Closest was CL. He had 3-1 Flames. Avatar had 3-2. And Serrano was close at 4-3. But they did take the Flames. Well, half of us that were in took the Flames, and half of us took the Habs. I really thought the Habs were going to win this game. It's disappointing. This is a one-round team and out for sure to me. Like
Yeah, like
the
I every
there's
time I
no
watch
I
the
can't see
Canadians,
Montreal beating Toronto.
like every time I watch the Canadians, it's like I watch them and I see them play and I'm like, "Oh, this team looks really powerful." Like their last little bit, like they won a game against the Oilers on the 5th there, and then they lost 3 in a row. And then they got a win against the Maple Leafs, and then they lost another one against the Flames. It's like they seem like they're a juggernaut for a little bit, and it's just like they completely lose their identity and fall off.
Yeah,
It's such a weird team there in Montreal, and I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make it very far. I don't even think they're gonna make it past the Canadian or the Leafs. There's no way
no,
they're gonna be able to make it past the Leafs. They don't got very much of a chance, especially if they're playing against the Flames like this. I mean, the Flames have been pretty hot lately. They've been catching a little bit of a flame lately, so we'll
yeah,
have to see where they go from this. But the Canadians really got to get their stuff in gear, because if not, I mean, the Flames are not that far back right now.
yeah. Sutter's playing 10 of 22 minutes a night, 25 minutes a night. Okay, crazy. Okay, we'll
Well,
go
it's their
on to the
best.
next.
It's their best defenseman right now. I'll be honest with you. Christopher Tanev has been their
Yeah,
best defenseman on their team compared to everyone else. Rasmus Anderson's been having a bombshell of the year analytically.
really?
Giordano's been getting Well, the last time I checked, or last time I read something, Anderson's has been kind of wow, that's bad. He has a 16% on defensive numbers, even strength defensive, and
Wow.
his even strength offense is down at 11% compared to last year where he was 66% even strength numbers and 91% defensive numbers last year. He has dropped tremendously on the war charts. He's completely fallen off this year. That's why Tanev and Hannafin have been their best pairing defensemen this year between
Hmm.
the both of those guys. That's why they're probably playing Tanev up to 24
But
minutes
see
by
what I
time.
mean? Where Sutter is a analytics guy. He does. He doesn't necessarily. Sutter's a guy who doesn't look at analytics. He just knows them. He knows
Hmm.
when a player is playing the way you're supposed to play.
Yeah,
Somebody asked us. Somebody doing a stream for the Bruins game tonight. Bill. Uh,
maybe.
Torlet. I'm not sure. Possibly John is doing the Bruins tonight if it's on NBC or I think I remember him. Check out Off the Wall Hockey John. He probably is doing it. Now, okay, the next game is the Jets versus the Senators. Uh, is this
Yes.
and the Senators team is going to be a decent team down the road for
Oh
sure.
man, I can't
But
wait to see the Sens in the future.
CL got it right. CL, woo!
No,
Send some
also
swag CL's way. 3-2
also
Jets, you
off the
got it.
wall hockey will not be playing today, so he will
Oh,
not be
okay.
doing the game today.
Okay. It's not me. I'm not doing anything tonight.
I'm not doing anything tonight either.
Uh, Avatar had 4-2 Jets. Everybody had Jets except for Hockey News Reports. Was that a hot take? Hockey News Reports? I didn't write it down. He had the Sens 3-0. But CL got it right. Woo! Gonna get some swag.
Woo!
Hype in the chat for CL. 5 points, buddy. Um, Winnipeg is. Winnipeg played well last night. Actually, I watched the game. There's no reason that it couldn't have. The score could have been a little higher. Ottawa Senators are. Matt Murray had a decent game, which was kind of
Yeah,
what everybody was worried about.
looking over, watching a little bit of the highlights of this game because I wasn't able to catch this one either. But yeah, Matt Murray doesn't look that bad. When he was in the net, he looked very calm and poised in the net, which I enjoy that. And honestly, like you were saying, like Ottawa Senators, once this team starts building up a little bit and they get some more years of development into Stutzla and Kachuk, this team's gonna be a deadly team. This team is going to be a real big contender here for years to come. And another player that I really enjoyed that they picked up was Victor Mete. When I was
Yeah,
watching a couple highlight reels of him, Victor Mete has been absolutely exciting me. And I seen a couple Canadiens fans. I did like a review stream of the deadline, and Habs fans were actually happy to have Gustafsson there in Montreal, which I thought was like I'm like looking at them. I'm like, dude, are you sure? I'm like, let's take a look at Eric Gustafsson's numbers here, bro, and I'll show you the analytics. He is so bad defensively,
oh,
so bad
it's
defensively.
yeah,
And you're like, and then people are like critiquing Mete's game by one clip because he messed up on the Ethers one. I'm like, he's 22 years old, guys.
yeah.
22.
That
Usually
hasn't really
don't.
been given a chance in
Usually
Montreal.
defensemen. You guys have Jeff Petrie, who didn't really start excelling until he was 31 years old.
Yeah,
So defensemen take a very long time to develop. Sometimes they're ready to go once they're 22 years old. And then he was like calling Victor Mete a bust, which I thought was funny because Victor Mete was drafted in the fourth round. How can you be a bust
yeah,
if you're drafted in the fourth round? Anyways,
yeah,
I think Victor Mete has been great. Winnipeg played a great game as well. I just love Winnipeg's depth right now, and that game-winning goal,
yeah.
or yeah, the game-winning goal there, Trevor Lewis on that short-handed one there to make it 3-1. Just a great play. I mean, capitalized on that. Shabbat was looking tired, jumped right on the puck and shot it right over Matt Murray's shoulder. It was a beautiful goal. And same with Matthew Peralt. I mean, that power play there in Winnipeg is deadly. They got some real deep. Their special teams is really good as well. it's an exciting team to see there in Winnipeg. It's just only if they were able to upgrade a little bit on that defensive court because there was a couple plays where Forbert was trying to handle the puck and Kachuk just like dragged right through him. That was the one thing I wish I seen them upgrade a little bit in was their defense during the deadline, but still great looking game.
Apparently they tried, but they were looking for guys that they were not likely going to be able to get. They were trying to get Mackenzie Weegar out of Florida. Yeah, nice try.
Yeah, nice try.
I
Yeah.
don't know what you're planning on giving up there, buddy, but you probably don't have enough to get Mackenzie
And
Weegar.
Bill Zito knows his worth because Bill Zito is I think Florida has been building up their analytic department there in Florida
Yeah,
as well. Just the way that they building their team
yeah.
has been very analytically, and a lot of luck, of course, but a lot of it's looking at old analytics with a lot of those players that they've been picking up with Gusev and stuff. But um, yeah, I've been enjoying the games from Winnipeg, especially when the Oilers face off against the Jets. I think I'm really excited to see the playoff series between the Jets and the Oilers, just because it could go either way. The Winnipeg Jets could possibly win because of their great depth, and it could even go to the Oilers' way as well. Hopefully, Nuge is okay and not injured for the playoffs. But the Winnipeg Jets look like a very, very exciting team
Yeah.
and could make a very good push. Only if they had better defense, I would be
I,
more
yeah,
confident
I was on
in
the
them.
Jets. I was on the Jets, assuming they were going to improve their defense, and certainly who they got there. Uh, what's his name from Vancouver? Uh,
Jordy Ben.
Jordy Ben was not really an upgrade at all. So,
No, no,
um,
analytically he's bad
yeah,
too.
he.
He's a kind of a bad
But they
pickup.
were going for trying to get Alexiak. They were Uyghur and somebody else, and anyways, they
Yeah,
were not.
Alexiak went right off the board right quick too. Alexiak was on the board for a little bit during the trade deadline, and then he went right off of it
Yeah,
because Dallas was like, "Yeah,
they
we could
weren't.
possibly make it."
They weren't giving him enough value, and they could possibly make it, and they're going to try to re-sign him. So,
Alexiak is very good analytically and has been playing great with Huskinen, so
uh,
might as well keep him.
he's come a long way. Come a
He
long way.
has,
He's
he
worked his
has.
way into a very, very good
But that's the
defenseman.
thing with defensemen, and that's why I really don't. That's why I like talking about the Victor Mente thing again. That's why like I dislike how people think that like being a 22-year-old and trying to play your best hockey is kind of, dumb to think.
Yeah,
Especially thinking that Eric Gustafson's better when you're trying to build your team up for the future. I feel like this year is going to be the biggest regret in Montreal Canadiens history. Looking at this team now, it's a good team, but I feel like it's just going to go downhill real quick, and they're going to be stuck with a lot of bad contracts, and stuff is just not going to go very well in the Canadiens' way very, very soon. They're building
yeah.
up for something that's just not going to happen. They're
Well,
going to lose in the first round, and
yeah,
they're not going to go very far.
what I was worried about the way they were filling holes in the off season and stuff like that. It just seemed like disjointed. Possibly, it was interesting. Like it made it interesting to see
Like,
what the team was going to turn into, but I felt that the likelihood of this being like a great team was very small.
you
There's
look at
just
their
too many things that
contracts.
had to happen.
Their contracts are gonna really eat them up. Ben Sherratt signed Edmondson. They're really gonna regret that contract. They're already are, and they're signed for another 3 years after this one. Anderson, hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, you get a lot of our UFAs, but I feel like after this one, I don't know what the Canadians are gonna do, but I just don't feel like they're gonna go very far in the playoffs for the Canadians at least. I think that the moves that they did were good, but I just don't think they were very smart moves, especially
Yeah,
sacrificing Victor Mete was. I think they're gonna regret that, especially losing them to Ottawa. Like,
yeah. It could be. He's got. Well, we'll go on to our next game because Mete is sort of in the mold of a guy we were already talking about, and he's in the next game. Mete is sort of in the mold of Gerard. That's
yes,
that's kind of where he's in the mold of, and if he turns out to be even three quarters of Gerard,
I think he will.
they are in big trouble. I don't doubt that
I
at all.
Victor Mete's analytics like are great, and I don't know why Canadians fan hammer on Mete because his analytics were great.
Well, quite obviously in Montreal, their main concern is just you got to be big.
I know, but that's just
Edmondson and all who else they brought. Who did they bring in? Merrill. and
John Morrell and if Eric Gustin they brought in, which
yeah,
Morrell
forget
was
about
nice
forget about Huff.
defensively,
He's
but
okay.
okay, like is this really gonna stop Matthews and stuff like that from scoring goals on you? I know going big is not a. I don't like going big
It's
anymore. I think it's a dumb.
important. Oh, I
You
think
know,
it's great if you can find big guys with
But I
strong
think, maybe
that are
one or two.
strong.
You look at Colorado, right? You got Namath and what Graves. And those are your kind of your
Well,
big defensemen
McCarr's
there.
no small guy either.
No, McCarr's no small guy, but he's more of your offensive guy, right?
Yeah, but he plays pretty big. He plays pretty big.
Yeah, yeah, he plays pretty big, but like you're gonna be looking for those guys. But the way that Montreal's building, it's just pure defensive
Yeah,
defenseman.
yeah, and it's just
And
not going to work.
it's these
It's just not going
guys
to
that
work.
are slow and painful to watch.
Yeah,
Like Edmondson's not a good defenseman. He's
no,
not. And you're
no, he's
paying him
not.
$3.5 million for the
I'm
next
glad
12.
you agree with me because I don't know what his
Bench or
analytics
what?
are, but I watch him.
Oh, Joel
He's not good.
Edmondson's analytics they are horrible.
I don't doubt that at all.
Even Shea Weber. And they're locked up with him for a long time. I mean, Shea Weber's not the worst, but you could
Yeah.
see that Shea Weber makes some pretty dumb mistakes at some moments of time.
Mm-hmm.
Edmondson as well is just he's bad.
Okay,
He
we'll
is
get to this
real bad.
Colorado game because we want to get
Yeah.
all these games in here. Avalanche versus the Blues. I thought the Blues had a possibility of winning this, and they actually played very well. It was a great spot for the Blues. They did outshoot them,
Hmm.
um, but Hoffman got an assist. Oh yeah, Hoffman
That's
got two
goals.
goals and assists.
He's been red
Uh,
hot lately.
well, he's that kind of guy, right? He's got a killer shot. If he gets in the spots,
He's
he's a
hot and
high
cold.
he's a high percentage shooter that you can rely on to pot goals if you're getting outplayed. And those guys are important to have. You just don't want too many of them.
Yeah.
Uh, but they but Colorado just they find a way because they have guys that can find a way. They have guys that can do the little things that create good analytics that can put you in positions where you can be outshot, but the shots are where you want them to shoot from.
Yeah.
Great analytic coaches, they play around their goaltenders' weaknesses. They know what they are, and they teach their defense and their forwards to put players in a position to shoot where those weaknesses aren't going to come, or they're not going to be there. That shot's not going to be there. So a good example of that was when Julian was in with Halak. Halak really has over the glove,
Yeah.
you know, but he taught his team to play in such a way that shot wasn't there a lot of the time. You see what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
talk about that. Another guy that doesn't get a lot of talk because he's got such a great team is Bakar, who's a great coach as well.
Yeah. I was this game. I watched a little bit of the highlights of the. I was watching more of the later on games, the Vegas Golden Knights game there. But talking about like goalies and stuff like that, Devin Dubnyk. Looking at him last night. I need to see more of a bigger picture. I'm hoping. I love my boy Devin Dubnyk. I've been a big fan of him since the Oilers drafted him, and he had some great time there in Minnesota. But right now, looking at Devin Dubnyk, I don't know, man. He was looking sketchy in that game against the Blues. He's not been looking himself this year. He's been playing one of his worst seasons, and that's compared to last season. But this year has been pretty rough for Devin Dubnyk. Didn't have too bad of a game, but you could see that he's definitely not the goalie that he used to be. Some of his saves, his positioning's off. But I think the way that the Colorado Avalanche played defense, especially near the end where it was like a 1 goal game, they shut him down. They shut down the Blues, making sure that there wasn't a lot of tip shots on the net. They made sure that if they were to block the shot, that they got the full brunt of it and it didn't trickle in on the net. They did a very good job of playing defense, and I really enjoy the way that they play defense there in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they play so sound. They got a good solid defensive core with Graves, Gerard, McCarr, and Taves. A lot of guys you're probably thinking like, oh yeah, Taves, Graves, Gerard, are probably not too bad, but these guys are very, very good defensemen, very good, and the way that they play is just amazing. Mike Hoffman as well. hot and cold, but amazing player once he's able to get himself going a little bit offensively. But another great game by Colorado and St. Louis. They just need to figure themselves out. I think they really need to take a really deep look this offseason at themselves and figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
With them locking up Benetton, most likely they're going to keep trying to push for the playoffs, but they got to figure out what's their biggest issue there in St. Louis.
Hmm.
And they got to fix it because this year they had a lot of injuries as well, which is the reason why they had kind of a faulty start. But even now with a lot of their players back in their lineup, they're still struggling to find that success. And I mean, they're down with Arizona right now. and,
Yeah.
and that's not good to say,
Yeah.
right? So they got to figure themselves out. They've been not been able to score very many goals or keep the puck out of the net. So they got to figure out what they got to do next, especially going into this offseason.
Serrano had 4-3 abs. Boo! 5 points for Serrano. Nailed it. Perlo swag to you, my friend. Everybody had abs. Oh no, sorry, everybody but me. I had the Blues 3-2. I thought the Blues could have won this game. It was a great spot for them, but it was a tough call. I wasn't like confident in it or anything, but if there was a spot for the Blues, this was probably it to beat Colorado. They're not going to beat the Blues or Colorado very often though. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Blues do in the offseason. They got to build around Pareko on defense there. They got a lot of big contracts that they really got to hope they pan out, like Krug and Falk and stuff like that. So, going to be interesting.
It
Colorado,
will
on the
be.
other hand, is going to keep on pushing. Do
Truck
you
it
know
along.
Nichushkin could end up being a freaking Seattle Kraken in next year? I don't know what his analytics are. I don't think they're
Oh,
great.
Nikushkin, not a great offensive guy, but you're asking for a great defensive guy. Nikushkin's brilliant defensively.
Yeah.
He is a not a offensively, like he's able to put up some good even strength offensive numbers, but his defensive numbers is really what takes the cake for
Yeah.
Nikushkin.
What about another guy that's been having a great season? Oh, he's out. He wasn't playing last night. Uh, Donskoy,
Oh, Jonas Donskoy.
because he
I
could be available for Seattle too. They're so stacked that
Jonas Donskoy, honestly, his finishing numbers are really high, but his even strength numbers are pretty poor. His even
all right.
strength goals for are kind of weak, and his defensive numbers, his goals against, are not too great either.
Yeah.
But he's a great goal scorer. You ask him, he could be that perfect kind of guy. Just go out there, get some offense going for you. But definitely not the greatest defensive numbers in the world. Not too bad PK wise, but he probably doesn't get too much PK time just in general.
Yeah, we're getting questions. We got to finish these games up. So what we'll do is we'll do these games really quick, and then we got Bill Tortolet asked a pretty good question there. Implicit saying is Dobson versus Bouchard. This has come up a lot. I know you could lose your on that.
Totally
That
agree
it's
with you, bro. I'm just gonna start agreeing with you. Totally agree. Dobson over Bouchard, bro.
implicit keeps on coming back to you to say that Dobson's better than Bouchard.
Oh, it doesn't
Uh,
matter to me.
all right, okay, let's go to Knights versus the Kings, and
Oh, this was a fun game to watch.
we
This
were
was a
just
fun
talking
game to
about
watch.
that. The Kings, I mean, they're going to be good, but this is a rough year for a young team. It's just
Yo, yeah.
didn't happen
Oh,
for them
I don't
this
think I
year.
don't even think this is a rough year for them. I think this was what was kind of planned. This was the way that I kind of seen the team having it, but they played better than what I expected them to do. Like even watching this game, of course they're gonna get outplayed by the Vegas Golden Knights. Like the Vegas Golden Knights, the way that they played, I mean, it kind of sucks. Jonathan Quick, I think his time is up. That one fluky goal, I feel bad for him. The puck bounced, and it puck bounced right at the last second, and it just went a totally different way and went right into the back of the net. Um, but Peterson, he's a great goalie. I'm really excited to see what Cal
Yeah,
Peterson will do for the LA Kings here in the future. Trevor
yeah,
Moreau as well. He has a sick shot. He got the 2 goals for the LA Kings as
yeah.
well. He's been playing great.
Nice
And
pickup.
uh, I've been hearing that they're trying to extend Anthony Ciu, which I think is another smart idea. Anthony Ciu has been great for the team
Athanasiou
as
has
well.
surprised me this year, and I'll be the first to admit it. I really didn't see
I
that
knew
coming.
Anthony C was going to do good. I seen some great highlights when he was playing for the Oilers. He was just, not given the time. Anthony Ciu is a great player. He's a great goal scorer, and he could get himself going. The Vegas Golden Knights, on the other hand, they're just such a powerful team. It's so
Yeah,
hard to beat them.
yeah.
They're so
Uh,
defensively sound. They got everyone playing, like everyone on their team plays like 16, 15 minutes a game, which I love. I love to see that type of
yeah,
stuff, especially
I
for
do
a team
too.
like
I'm
Vegas,
totally with you there. Yeah,
right? They're such a well-built team, and they played to their strengths. I mean, Zach Whitecloud played the most ice time out of the entire defense core there for
yeah, I
Vegas,
noticed that.
uh, which is just amazing. I really like the way that they built their team there. I actually would like to see what Zach Whitecloud's on. Wow, that's actually amazing analytics. Great defensive numbers. No wonder why he's playing so much. Great
Yeah,
defensive numbers. But
they have
honestly,
transformed him into a very good defenseman,
I am
extremely good
really
defenseman.
excited to see what will happen between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. Go Twins.
That'll be a series for the
That
ages. I think that's
is
going
going
to
to
be
be such a
amazing.
fun series to watch and
Yeah,
talk about because
yeah,
it's going to be some competitive hockey. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch between those two teams. I cannot wait until that second round between these two teams.
Here, okay. Before we move on to the next game, I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this the year that we get a winger for the Selkie? Stone. Stone.
I think it's a possibility. I totally think it's a possibility. Now I haven't really looked into too much of the all the defensive numbers, but I think honestly, Stone hasn't been the greatest
Do you know
defensively
that
this year.
Stone's only had 2 goals scored while he's on the ice against him all year long?
All this year, wow,
The
that's pretty
whole
damn
year.
good.
That's insane.
He should definitely be in the talks. Honestly, he should definitely be in the high up talks for being a Selkie, and I could see Stone winning the Selkie very soon. If not this year, it could be the next year, the year after that.
I think
Uh,
this is the year for it because where else you can't give it to Bergeron all the time, all the time, all the time.
no, I don't think Bergeron will. Anyways, he's. I mean, he's not playing too bad this year. I don't know. I'm not too like well in depth into the defensive numbers of everyone, but I would like to see Stone win a Selkie sooner or later for sure.
Yeah, I think it should be this year. Yeah, I know. 2 goals scored on while he's been on the ice
With
all year
that
long.
stat is just nuts. For that
That's
stat
just
alone,
there's
he
some
should
luck
win.
involved with that too, but I mean it's not all luck. He's an amazing defensive player. I love Stone. He's one of my favorite players in the league, for sure, no doubt about it.
Oh, without a doubt, I love Stone. Especially when he was playing for the World Juniors for Team Canada. There, I was like, this kid's gonna be a steal. No matter where
Yeah,
he goes, he's gonna be a great player.
yeah.
And he's turned out to be an amazing player. I loved Mark Stone ever since he got drafted, even though he was a really, really, really late draft pick and people were hating on his skating. I felt like Stone was just going to be a steal, and he's just been a great player. Great, amazing player for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yep, totally agree. Okay, and now finally, uh, the Sharks pretty much got to hang him up now, right?
Oh, I feel bad for Josef Corner there. Man, when I was looking at that goalie, he's so small in there. I was like, man,
Yeah,
that's a small
he
goalie.
didn't
But
even
yeah,
have good AHL stats actually.
oh no, his AHL stats are abomination. But
Pretty bad, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's wrong with San Jose, man. The way that they play, the way that they are, it's not a very good game. The power play is like you have so many offensive weapons, but you cannot generate anything on the power play. It's actually low key embarrassing. You're playing Brent Burns almost 30 minutes of ice time and Carlson 28. It's bad there in San Jose, and they screwed themselves with a lot of those contracts. Anaheim played a pretty good game, but Stolars was amazing as well in this game. Shout out to him who
Yeah, we that
Professor Joe was talking
Professor
about
Joe is in there. By the
at the
way,
start of the
Pro
show.
Joe, go check him out. Sports Fanatic News.
Oh heck yeah!
He's a genius. That's why we call him the professor. Go check him out. He does all sports, and he can walk with anyone. That guy, he's unbelievable. But yeah, Stolar's slamming it.
And talking about a guy who's
One.
been producing at Volkov the past 2 games against the Sharks. He's had 4 points, 3 goals, 1 assist.
Yeah.
Volkov,
Oh, was it? I didn't
he's
even know that. But
yeah.
I was talking about that before we got on today. I love that guy. When he was in Tampa, I was like, he's probably not going to be able to work out himself up that roster. And Anaheim did a heck of a job picking him up.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, they got so much center depth. They don't need Moran. They need more goal scoring depth than anything right now because they got Zegers, they got Ludersham, they got Steele, they got Heinen. They got so many centers up in that core. They don't really need anyone right now for that center depth. So picking up Volkov is a smart idea. Plus, he's NHL ready,
Yeah.
and the way that he's been playing for the Anaheim Ducks, I really like his play, and I think he could be, maybe potentially a 20 goal scorer for this team in future runs for the Anaheim Ducks
Yeah,
if he
I do
continues to
too. I
play.
think so. I think you certainly can. At the very least, a solid third line center or third
Yeah,
line winger.
yeah, that as
Uh,
well.
um, I got to figure that the Bugner experiment is over this year.
I mean, what else can you really do there in San Jose? I mean, Budner has not been doing very well with that team, but what can you
Could,
really do with that team, anyways? Just in general, like
they have no defensive depth
there's no
whatsoever.
cap, there's no defensive depth. I mean, they're playing Nicholas Malak,
Yeah.
and they're playing some Russian dude up to 19 minutes, and Mario Ferrero, who should not be playing that
Can
amount of ice time, and Semic as well,
Kenyazev.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
he hasn't been playing terrible, but I mean, he's probably been one of their better defensemen, and that's not good.
no, it's down bad there in San Jose, and it's just time to rebuild. Time to
Yeah.
take these players. I mean, it's
Okay.
hard to rebuild when you've got so many bad contracts.
Did we do the score for the? No, we didn't.
No, I don't think we
Nobody
did.
got. Everybody had Vegas. I had the closest one, 5-2 Vegas. Close. As
Close.
far as the Ducks and Sharks, it was it, it,
It's
who
four
had
one,
it
four
was
one
four
Ducks.
one.
Yeah.
Avatar almost nailed it. 4-0 Ducks. Uh,
Ooh,
and 4-2 for Hockey News Reports. Wow.
close, but
You guys get the guns. You don't get swag, but you get that.
get the guns.
So there you go. You can tell all your friends. Um, yeah, but yeah, there's not. The question was, Bill asked, why do the
Oilers have
Oilers have
McDavid and
McDavid, and he
Draisaitl?
doesn't think that McDavid and Draisaitl should be on the same line.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Especially with Nuge being out of the lineup. But honestly, I don't know why Tippett does the things that he does. And also, I seen your question a little bit later on about Tippett probably being signed back. I think if we continue being into the playoffs, there's no way that Holland or Tippett will probably ever leave unless, we continue to kind of go downhill. Then you might see Tippett be fired. But I don't think uh, I don't think Tippett's going to go anywhere, and I know what Tippett will do. He will be throwing that line together against the Jets, even though we shouldn't. And also, no worries. Hockey News report on that. Talking to you about or letting you guys know about Jay Fresh's analytics. Absolutely amazing guy. $5 a month for great analytics, and he gives you all the information that you need on everything: goalies, defense, absolutely everything. He's an amazing guy.
Yes, I'm gonna have to check them out too. I haven't even checked them out, but I always get my analytics from you anyway. So,
Yeah.
uh, like, um, and Joe too. Joe's killer at analytics as well, especially
Oh,
goaltender analytics. He's
without a doubt.
fantastic.
Especially the AHL stuff. He's all up in there, and I love that. I always love seeing his little updates on the AHL. It's getting me more into the know about the AHL,
Yeah.
which is
Oh
definitely a
yeah.
great guy.
He's
Go
writing.
check him out on Twitter.
I don't know how that guy knows so much about so many sports. It's
Go
incredible. Like,
go check out his channel and his Twitter. Projo is an amazing guy. He has so much great content. Baseball, hockey, football, just about anything he loves, especially Philly stuff.
by the way, that's my Twitter, Perlo's NHLPOW, and yours is Peyton on the.
Peyton, I think it's Peyton. Oh man, I can't even remember. Peyton on the radio though. I think it is.
I think does that all fit on there? Peyton on the radio. I'll throw it in there. It'll come up probably. That's our Twitter too. Go over there and check us out. Okay, we are going to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll show you who is winning right now in the points. We'll do the games. We'll continue talking about everything there is to talk about hockey. That's what we do, and we'll do our picks of who's going to win. Probably talk about who's going to. With that, we'll talk about playoff stuff and all that kind of stuff like that. Um, it takes a little bit to do this. Okay, off we go.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taking care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger, and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities, and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God.
And we are back. All right, hope you enjoyed that fine sponsor. They support us, and and they're great too. Actually, if you have dogs, you
Mm-hmm.
gotta check it out, my friends. You gotta check it out. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be getting into our games. How many games do we got today?
We got the Islanders, Bruins, Devils, Rangers, Sabres, Capitals, Preds, Hurricanes, and then yeah, we got a decent amount of games tonight. Awesome.
Yeah, and
Some great hockey too.
some interesting ones at that.
Ooh, Flyers
Yeah.
versus Penguins as well tonight as well. And the
Yes.
Jets Leafs. Ooh, we got some exciting hockey tonight, guys. I'm actually pumped. I'm actually pumped now to see some of these matchups tonight.
Yeah,
Getting me going.
I kind of pumped for the Philly game in a wince and watch sort of way. Like, can we not get blown out today? Just make it. Just have it kind of be
Just play
close.
good, please.
Carter Hart, is he in? I don't know. We'll look.
Maybe. Let's see here.
They can't.
I
They
know.
what do you do? You can't. Can you put it? Oh, Carter Hart is in.
Ah, man, I feel bad for Carter Hart. It's such a bad defense there in Philly.
Yeah.
It's not even really his fault, but he's kind of being blamed for it. Like some of the stuff is his fault as well, but like you
Oh
look at
yeah.
that defense score there in Philly, it's just so incomplete.
Oh yeah. If you got to stare at the back of Gostisbehere and Gustafson, all the first couple games you have to do that. You think I got to do this all year? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Although Gostisbehere has had a better year this year, I shouldn't be slamming him too much. But Gustafson, uh, Braun, I mean, yeah, very
all right.
bad.
So I think what game do you want to start off with?
Well, we're gonna.
All right,
Let
we
me
gonna look at the
see,
standings
let
or
people come in here. Okay, yeah, we can look at the standings too. Well, we'll look at the standings as we do the games.
okay, perfect.
So, the first game we got on, it's taken a while for my computer to
I
get
think
up.
the
The
first game
first
is
game is
the
Bruins
Island.
and Islanders, is what I got top of the list.
Yeah, same here.
That
The
is going
starting
to be a crazy game.
Yeah, Raska's in the net, and it's not confirmed. It's unconfirmed right now who this is going to be the starting goalie for the Islanders, but they're guessing Semyon Varlamov
It's got to
is
be.
going to be the
You
starting
got to go with
goalie
the
for the
veteran against
Islanders.
Rask, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. The Islanders and the Bruins. This matchup, not too bad. I think the Islanders, very tough team, and the Islanders. The Bruins need a win tonight, but the Islanders have matched the Bruins every single game this year. Every single game the Islanders have won. The Bruins have not won a single game
Yeah.
against the. Well, that's not good. Yeah, but the Islanders have absolutely shut out the Bruins in every single game. Will Tuukka Rask change that? I don't know. And will Taylor Hall be able to boost that offense going forward into this game? I don't know. I feel like not. I feel like the Islanders are just gonna once again shut them down tonight.
Yeah,
I feel like
I'm
this
on the
is gonna be
fence
another
about
dub.
this game because the Islanders they just made some significant trades with Palmieri and
Yeah.
Zajac too, but they've just had a couple days to practice with those players too. My thing is here is, uh, it's sort of like a law of percentages, and if this seems like because Rask is in, it seems like a pretty good spot for Boston. They really need this game. They got the Rangers climbing up on them right now. They have been playing better. They have but I'm
The
really
thing
if
about
you,
Boston, though, the
I
thing
don't know
about,
though.
but the thing about Boston, even when we talk about these big games for Boston, it seems like this year they just, even when the stakes are high, they just don't play very well, even when the stakes are high. And will Taylor Hall really change that tonight, going up against the Islanders with the stakes being very high, especially with the Rangers, climbing up that standings? This is a win that the Bruins we need, like you
Yeah.
were saying. This is a game the Bruins need to win tonight, but are they going to be able to muster up enough goals? The last meeting, it was 4-3 Islanders. The other meeting, 2-1 Islanders. It seems like the Islanders have been able to shut down the Bruins just enough to be able to win the games. And the Islanders have been pretty hot, too. I mean, they just came off a 4-game winning streak, and then they lost against the Rangers and beat the Rangers just the other night on the 11th. So how will the Boston Bruins do? The Bruins, they got absolutely pummeled 8-1 by the Capitals. They lost to the Philadelphia Flyers another game. They just beat the Buffalo Sabres, but I mean that's the Buffalo Sabres. How well will they do against the Islanders in these next two games is going to really be the
Oh,
tail of things.
sorry. Keep on talking, but I forgot to show the keep on
Oh,
talking,
no
but
worries.
keep on
Um,
talking, but I forgot to show everybody the scores.
oh, yeah, I think for me, I think I'm gonna go with the Islanders on this one. I got to. It feels like the Bruins. I mean, the Bruins could possibly pull off some miracle tonight, and you know, Tuukka Rask could shut the door for them. But I feel like the Islanders are gonna once again win this game tonight, and they're gonna pull away with a big one. I think I'm gonna go with a. It's gonna be a tight game, 3-2. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-2 Islanders. That's what I'm gonna go with because I just Or Charlie McAvoy is back in the lineup as well for the
Yes,
Bruins.
he's back in the Bruins. He's back for the Bruins. If it wasn't
But that's like the
McAvoy
one good defenseman, though. That's only McAvoy, and then you got Mike Riley, and
Lauzone, Lauzone is in.
yeah, I mean, you still got Carlo out of the lineup. You still got
Yeah,
Grizzly out of the lineup. You still got John Morrow out of the lineup.
that's
I mean,
tough, and that's really been their problem this year. Is
and you're going up against a mountain in the New York Islanders. I feel like I got to go with the New York Islanders on this one. It's going to be a close one, 3-2, but I feel like the Islanders are going to be able to pull out with a big one. I have a feeling this is going to be my hot take. The Bruins are not going to make it to the playoffs this year. The Rangers will.
I was actually thinking that the Bruins weren't going to make it before the season started, but I couldn't get myself to do it.
I said at the start of the season, yeah, I was the same way with you, I think. I was like, I really didn't have much belief in the Rangers. But now seeing kind of the Rangers, they're catching a little bit of a flame, a little bit of a spark right now, right? They're looking a little bit, like they could catch up to the Bruins. And the Bruins, like every time I watch their games, I'm watching the game and I'm like, this team just does not feel complete. Like this team just has something wrong with it. I mean,
Mercer's
the
crushing it
injuries.
right. I got to tell them, Mercer's crushing right now. CL, then Perlo, then Hockey News Reports just jumped up huge. He was down. He just jumped up. Jacket,
Wow.
who we haven't seen Jacket in around for a while. Sasha, Steele, and there you go. Can you guys see that? Can you see that in the stream? I should check to see if people can see that. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not saying anything wrong about Mike Riley and Lazar, but I just don't feel like the Bruins are still missing. It feels like they're missing something. They're missing that goal scoring power in Lazar or Mike Riley. Mike Riley's going to be able to provide you some offense, but not goal scoring wise. And Taylor Hall is not a goal scorer; he's a playmaker, right? It's going to be hard. I think it's going to be a very hard game for the Islanders to produce that goal scoring offense that they haven't been producing over the past little bit.
All right, I take my window capture down. There we go. Okay, there you go. That was the points, guys. Um, yeah, I'm on the fence. I don't know. I just, for some reason, think that this is a good spot for Boston, and that's it. Besides that, I could definitely see the Islanders winning this game. I'm really not. I'm really just not sure. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 on the Islanders on that one.
Okay, let me get on the stream here and see what everybody's got.
We got 3-2 Bruins from Kyle.
So far, I've
And
only got three. Where's everybody's picks? Throw us in there, buddy. Good job, everybody. Yes.
Taylor Hall
everybody's-
scored last game? No, I don't think Taylor Hall scored last game. He has 0 points, I think, still. Yeah, he still has 0 points this year. No points for Hall just yet.
I thought he got an assist in that Boston. He didn't. Okay.
No, doesn't look.
3-2
I think he did. I think he did, but it got
Isles.
took away from him.
Where is everybody? I guess
CL 4-2 Isles and then Joey 4-2.
Oh, CL 4-2 Isles.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're new in the chat, what we're doing is we're going through all the games. You tell us who's going to win, what the score is going to be, and we'll talk. We're going to talk about each game and who might win and all of that sort of thing like that. So just say the score and everything, and then you can move up points really fast, super fast. So you're not out of it at any time. You get 5 points if you get the score and the team right. If or who wins right. If you want to go for a 10-pointer, you go. You can put OT, and also if you get the score or the team right, you get 2 points. So okay, next game, Devils versus Rangers. The Rangers are playing the Devils 4 in a row here. Blackwood is supposed to be in net, and Shesterkin is in net. I think the Devils will win one of these. I'm just not sure about this one. Heischer's back in the lineup, which helps, but Zach is not.
Yeah.
The Rangers are really fortunate right now. They have little to no injuries at all. So.
Yeah. Also, the starting goalies on that one is Mackenzie Blackwood for the New Jersey Devils and Shesterkin for the Rangers. So the two of the best goalies going up against each other. The Devils are on a 3-game losing streak right now. They've been struggling over this past month or so. They've been struggling. The Rangers, they've been winning and losing. They've been kind of going back and forth. But I think this next stretch of games against the Devils, I think they're going to start carrying some momentum. They won the last game on the 13th there against the Devils. I feel like the Rangers are going to want to again win this game. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a tighter game. I'm going to go 3-1 Rangers for this one.
Ooh, yeah. Uh, Bill T says 4-3 Rangers. Bill T
But
4-3
this is a big
Rangers.
one for the Rangers because they got to continue, you know, going red hot right now. They got to continue. They're only 4 points back of the Rangers, and they got to continue that momentum moving forward.
Peyton, yeah, they do. It's a huge game for them, um, for sure. This is the Devils basically would be playing just a role of a spoiler here.
Yeah, practically.
They do have some guys in there that are trying to make a case for them to stay in the lineup. Uh, that one fellow that they got from Arizona has been in the Hall trade. His name has escaped me now.
Oh,
He's
Kevin
been
Ball or whatever.
no, he's not in. He's a forward. He was picked up by Arizona in the first round. Ooh, Mercer's
Oh,
going three
Nick
two.
Merkley.
Merkley, that's the one. Nick Merkley, he's been putting up. I mean, he's never going to score a lot, but he's been a good energy guy for them. The Sharon Goloff, or whatever his name is, that rookie that they have that came out of nowhere, I had no idea who he was. I thought you'd see more from Bratt this year. I still think Hughes is going to be great. It's just he's just bulking up. Like people forget how young he is. You know,
I know. I know.
he's going to be great.
Everyone was calling him a bust last year, and I know I heard that talk about Laffy as well this year. Like, oh, he's a bust. He's not producing. I'm like, well, what do you expect? He just came into the league as like an 18-year-old, bro, facing up against like these huge 30-year-olds in the NHL. Like, give Jack Hughes some time. He's doing really well this year.
Hmm.
21 points in 41 games on a team that's, not producing a lot of points. He's playing some really good hockey.
Yep.
But give him some time to develop. It's going to take time for Jack Hughes to develop. He went straight from, American League hockey right into, or not American League hockey, but the NCAA right into the NHL. So it's definitely a big change. Playing against players that are around your same size to behemoths in the NHL who are very strong, and it's hard to play against those types of players. But give Jack Hughes time. He's going to be a great player. And same with Nico Hischier. I know he's been kind of dealing with some injuries this year. He didn't play too much, but I picked him up for fantasy because I feel like he's going to start sparking some energy. It might be potentially this game where, Nico Hischier gets right back into the heat of things and starts producing a lot. But be excited about this New Jersey Devils team. It's going to be an exciting team to watch over
Yeah.
these next couple of years.
Yeah, and I love what Fitzgerald has done. Siegenthaler was a nice pickup. We talked about that
Yeah,
yesterday, and I
very,
talked
very
about that.
small deal, but
Yeah,
very nice.
I think it could be one of the best deals in the draft. Yeah, I really like Siegenthaler, what he was doing in Washington. He couldn't find his spot there, which I'm not sure was justified. I think he could have been better than Jensen, really. I'm
Hmm.
not sure why. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that he's going to do great in New Jersey. I'm taking
Also,
the Rangers 4-1, though. Shesterkin to me is just out of his head right now.
um, did you get Bill who put Bruins 4-3 in the last
Yeah,
one?
I
Okay,
got that. Bruins
okay.
4-3. Again, we got more people in the chat here. What we're doing here is every game we're talking about, you just mark down the score and who you think's going to win. Also, don't be afraid to comment at some things that you think the reasons why you're picking and all that kind of stuff like that. Nolan Patrick to the Devils would be interesting. I'd
That
like to
would be.
see. I'd like to see what a team could do with Nolan Patrick beside the Flyers. It's unfortunate that maybe they might not have a choice, but to
Yeah, I know those analytics are they're easy to get distracted on their hockey news report. You could be on there for hours.
yeah, that's the other reason why I'm not always watching analytics stuff all the time because it's time consuming for me for all the other stuff I do. But that's why I like having people that know that can pop up analytics really quick because
Hmm.
then I don't need that. Like I got my. It's like having an encyclopedia. You don't need to know everything if you have the information somewhere, right?
Yep.
Albert Einstein said that. You don't have to remember it. Not that I'm any. That's about as close to Albert Einstein as I'll ever come. Okay. The next game then, Sabres versus Capitals.
Yeah, this is a big one for the Capitals. They are just a game ahead of the New York Islanders right now, and if the New York Islanders, of course, win, they'll be tied. In this game for the starting goalies for both teams, the Sabres have Dustin Tonarski in the net for
Yeah,
the Buffalo
Tokarski
Sabres,
again. Yeah.
and Vitek Benasek will be in the net for the Washington Capitals as well. So he'll be the starting goalie for them.
Yeah.
I think we all know who we're picking on this one here, guys. Washington's been red hot. They got a 3-game winning streak. They absolutely pummeled the Flyers, the Bruins, and the Sabres. I feel like this is going to be another smoke show here for the Washington Capitals, especially with Mantha. They seem just like a new team right now there in
Yep.
Washington,
They do. Yeah.
especially the way that I've seen the way that Mantha was playing. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 6-1 in this game for the Washington Capitals. They look like a new team with Mantha, and no wonder why they paid the price to get Mantha because he's going to be a really good player for them. No matter which way you go about things, Mantha is a deadly player for the Washington Capitals moving forward, especially with his size. They really didn't need Varanen. They already got some smaller players. I think Mantha is a perfect fit, and he had a great first game there for the Washington Capitals. I'm excited to see what he's going to do here against the Buffalo Sabres tonight.
5-2 Capitals. Yeah. They do have smaller players there, but their team overall is huge, and he just
Mm-hmm.
adds another guy there. Do you notice the first thing they like how much they were celebrating him? Like it's quite it seems obvious to me that the logic behind the trade for the most part was that this was just a young kid that was taking a lot of Serrano 4-3. Holy crap!
He's going
That's
for the big points.
wow. 4-3. Sabres in overtime. What?
That's
Okay,
nuts.
going off the board. I got this one, he says. Uh, um, what was I saying? Yeah, I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's just, it's really hard for a young player to go through all those losses like that. In Detroit, where it can be hard on the confidence, and I think it just got to the point where they didn't think they were going to be able to get his confidence back in there in Detroit, and they probably know this is going to look bad. I think the Red
Yeah.
Wings know that this is going to look bad down the road.
I don't think it's gonna look bad. They got a first round pick out of the deal and a pretty deep draft this
If they
year.
nail the
So
pick, if they
right,
nail the
if they
pick.
nail the pick, right? But I mean, Eiserman knows he's pretty.
Oh, he's
He
brilliant.
knows
He's
he
brilliant.
got. I mean, he traded away what was it? I mean, Erickson for first as well. But Veronen's gonna be good. You get a first and a second out of it. It's not the worst deal in the world. Mantha wasn't fitting very well there. Mantha now goes to a team where he's going to really excel there in Washington, and he's a young guy too, and he's locked on a perfect contract. I think it's going to be perfect for the Washington Capitals moving forward. I think Mantha is really going to be a good fit. I don't think it's going to be, I think it might be a deal that maybe Washington regrets in years to come if it really pans out really good for the Detroit Red Wings. But, if Mantha brings them some more playoff success this year, which they really have to build up their team. There's a lot of good teams in that East Division. It's a tough one, and if the Washington Capitals are building up probably to face up against the Islanders or the Penguins or the Bruins or Rangers or whoever, right? They're going to be facing a very strong team in that. So I think them picking up Mantha is just going to make them even stronger and deeper and more physical. I'm excited to see what Washington will do moving forward, especially going into the playoffs. I'm excited to see what they'll do.
Uh, I mean, CL 5-1 Caps. Okay, this could if I mean, let's remember that Mantha was projected by the organization of the Red Wings and pretty much anybody who was in the know when he was young as a very possible 40-goal scorer. He's got a
Oh yeah.
if when he can get it, he's got a shot from the slot that is second to very few in the NHL. It's
Hmm.
just having the confidence to use it to get in the spots and having the players that allow him to get there. And now he's
Now,
playing. Didn't they play him with Backstrom and Oshie?
maybe.
That is one killer line to be playing with right there. Those two
And the
guys
thing
can
is,
do that.
too, you
Go ahead.
be about, you're playing with a guy in Ovi who could teach you how to shoot that puck and really start excelling, right?
Yeah,
It's going to be exciting for Mantha to learn from Ovi,
great
to
point.
learn
Yeah,
from his
yeah,
his shot is insane, right? Like you're going to be learning from one of the best shooters in the NHL in history. So
yeah,
I think Mantha going to the Washington Capitals, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they're getting themselves into, and it's a great deal. They didn't have to lock up Varanin for a long time. They knew they were going to have to pay him big bucks, but you already got Mantha, who's already locked up on a pretty nice deal for the next 4 years, and you don't have to worry about him. It's a win-win situation for them.
yeah. I'm still gonna say what I still think. What we'll see if it's true. We'll see if it happens. But I I think that Steve Eisman knows he's gonna look like he loses. I don't think Varane is much more than he already is. Could be a point play, game player. He's a good player. He's going to help the Detroit Red Wings, no doubt about that. He probably is better to play with Larkin. He's going to play higher up in the lineup, and maybe not, maybe not. But I really think that Stevie Y knows that the Detroit Red Wings weren't going to be able to give Mantha the advantage he needed as a young player to become the
Hmm.
best he could be. And having somebody like Ovechkin there for Mantha was going to be better for Mantha. And a lot of times, Stevie Eisman is a great human being first, and he makes moves like that. He loves his players, and he wants to see what's best for them. And I think in the long run, he just said, go, you go, son. And that's sort of
Yep.
what happened with Athanasiou there. He was
Hmm.
having a tough time, and he was when he made that trade with Edmonton. It was sort of like, I don't know if he's going to work out for you, but I think he'd be better. He has a better chance of being good with you guys. So send him over there. And now he's gone to LA and he's doing really well. And I think Stevie's very happy for those guys. It's not just about his organization, and that's why they get a lot of players. People will go to Detroit. In the long run, when you do stuff like that, you have no problems getting free agents when you need them.
Hmm.
All of that, and when you go to contract talks, people have that in the back of their mind that this general manager actually cares about me. So you may
Yeah.
shave off a million here or whatever, a million and a half there, because they want to stay in your organization. So
Yeah.
I love Stevie Y for that. Okay, I love Stevie Y is my favorite male human being on the planet, probably pretty darn close. I love Stevie Y.
Stevie Y is
Uh,
pretty damn amazing.
he's the best.
Excuse me. All right.
Okay,
Also, digital.
Predators versus Hurricanes. We already got guys putting it up
Yep.
here.
Yeah. Steals all his predictions. He's going 4-3 and shootout or
Yeah. Oh,
overtime.
by the way, Steele, I got that for your other ones. You put them up twice there. I already got them. Predators versus Hurricanes. This is going to be what quite
Yeah,
the
Hurricanes.
match.
They lost both of their games against the Red Wings. I feel like they'll probably bounce back tonight, especially since they've practically shut out the Nashville Predators in every single game this season.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville has been pretty hot though. The way that they played against the Tampa Bay Lightning was, pretty amazing. The way that they played, winning 7-2. So I don't know. The last time they even played the Carolina Hurricanes, they were struggling. They're red hot right now. I feel like I'm gonna go with Nashville on this one. I gotta go with Nashville. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 4-2 Nashville in this one. Also, the starting goalies will be UC Saros starting in the net for Nashville, likely, and likely for the Carolina Hurricanes is Peter Mrazek.
You
But
got a likely on that? I don't
yeah,
have anything confirmed on that, and they're taking such a long time.
nothing
Uh,
confirmed, just likely on both Saros and Mrazek.
I got likely on Mrazek on left wing lock, but projected, which doesn't really mean much, for Saros. And for them to be taking this long to commit a little bit, I'm a little concerned that they throw Rene in this spot. That would be definitely going for the Canes if they throw Rene
Yeah,
in there.
without a doubt. And I think the way that Nashville's been playing, especially Arvidsson's been nuts. 5 goals in the past 5 games. He has just been nuts. 6 points in 5 games. Saros has been playing great in the past little bit as well. I think the Nashville Predators will actually be able to win a game against the Carolina Hurricanes, and they need to. They need to win a big one tonight. They want to space themselves a little further away from the Chicago Blackhawks, and they could do that tonight if they get a big victory against the Hurricanes.
So
So
what
I'll
was
go
your score,
4-2.
big? 4-2.
4-2 Nashville.
4-2. I'm really tempted to go that too. I'm really conflicted about this game,
Joey's
honestly.
doing the exact same thing, 4-3 Nashville.
Gideon, welcome. Got home from school. Sweet.
Hey, buddy.
Uh, at the end of this, I might be able to take your other scores there, Gideon. We looks like we're gonna have some time left afterwards, so if there's some leftover scores we haven't taken care of, we can do that. 4-3 Preds. You said 4-2, didn't you, Peyton, or did you
Yeah,
say
4-2.
4-2?
4-2
4-2.
Preds.
I'm going to go the Canes here, but very lightly. Like, I'm not a big fan of Mrazek. It's no secret. I'm not a
No,
big
his
fan of
glove hand's
Mrazek.
very weak.
That's the problem. And the Canes play well in front of them. Uh,
And especially with how Arvidsson's been doing right now, and just the way that overall the team's been doing there in Nashville. They've been gaining a lot of momentum right now. They're a scary looking team, and
well,
they're not even they got so many injuries surprisingly too, and they're playing red hot with all those injuries.
yeah, that's CL 3-2 Canes in overtime. That's kind of why I'm going with the Canes here, but I'm not like confident. Um, but I'm going to say that the Canes play really defensive today. That they don't try to run and gun with the Preds, because the Preds, if you run and gun with them, even though they have a lot of injuries, they play tough in the corners. They play tough all over the ice. I would to beat the Preds right now. I would kind of neutral zone trap them quite a bit, and I think that's what they're going to try to do. And I think they're going to win 2-1.
Two
But
one.
a tough game, a very tough game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a
Um,
very tough game for them as
like I
well.
said, if Rene's in, I'm gonna say I'm much more inclined for the Canes. Okay, Gideon, put in a score, and
We'll set you up with the
yeah,
predictions.
put in a score, and then later on I'll get the scores if you're still around for all the other games as well. Um, I wonder if I got everybody. It looks like I got everybody.
Yeah, the Steel Bill there, and then Joey and CL, and also
Mercer,
Kyle.
Bill, Steele, Serrano. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think that's everyone for that one.
Okay.
On to the next one, Tampa and
CL.
Florida.
CL went 2-1. I like. Oh,
Ooh.
you like the 2-1. Okay, you didn't pick it, but you like it. Okay.
Florida and Tampa Bay, which should be an exciting game. I think this will be Sam
Oh
Bennett's
yeah,
debut. No, he has to quarantine for 7 days, right?
yeah.
I that stupid quarantining.
I
Oh man, I miss old hockey where the players just plays the next day or whatever, especially
yeah,
going from
exactly.
Canada to America.
Well,
Anyways,
let me guess. Tampa Bay has not confirmed their goaltender. Huh?
no, Vasilevsky's confirmed,
What? Oh my gosh.
and Chris Dredger's confirmed for Florida.
Yeah, that's what messes me up.
Now,
I thought it was Bobrovsky. I was a little. I was on the Lightning a lot more.
this
And
series has been back and forth. The first meeting it was 5-2 Florida. The second meeting was 6-1 Tampa. The next meeting was 6-4 Florida, and then the last meeting was 5-3 Tampa. So it's been back and forth hockey
a lot of big
between these
scores
two,
too.
and lots of big scores as well. Also, Kyle just came in and said Canes win 3-0 in that one.
Kyle Mercer.
No, Kyle
Oh,
Hintelin.
are you new, Mr. Hinterland?
I think he is. Hello, Mr. Kyle.
Kyle H. Welcome. Hopefully you hit the subscribe. I'm glad you know that Tampa pissed 4-1. Canes win 3-0.
I think this game it's gonna be a hard one to choose because I mean I love both teams right now between the Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida. Tampa or Florida, they've been on a little bit of a losing streak. They just won. They knocked off their 3-game losing streak the other night against the Dallas Stars. While Tampa Bay, on the other hand, um, they were on a 2-game winning streak, but then they lost to Nashville 7-2. So they're most likely looking to have a bounce back game tonight as well. So I feel like I think this one I'm gonna choose the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's gonna be 6-5 Tampa.
Ooh,
I'm going
4-3
big.
Panthers.
Your new Kyle, welcome, man. Welcome,
4-2.
welcome, welcome. And Joey goes 4-3 Panthers in overtime.
6-5. 6-5. Who did you go with? Canes or
Tampa.
Lightning? Tampa.
Tampa.
Nice.
Big old Tampa. Ugh.
Yeah, welcome, Kyle. Welcome to the live. We get talking. Thanks for coming in. Everybody, big ups for the new
Big
guy,
hype,
Kyle
baby.
Hamilton. Well, 14 likes. I don't think we've ever had that.
15, I think we just hit now.
Woo!
Woo! 15
Great.
like hype, baby.
Yeah, buddy,
Keep
15
smashing that
likes.
like button, everyone. That'll be very much
Yeah,
appreciated, boys.
bring people, a lot of people to the chat. Okay. Tort. Oh, Bill Tort. I didn't have Bill T's. 3-1 Tampa.
Damn right. Go big or go home. Damn right. That's what I'm going with my score. 6-5 Tampa. Go big or go home. 4-3
CL.
Tampa.
4-3 Bolts. With Steel 6-5 Tampa and OT. Same as you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he went with OT though.
Okay. OT. Yeah, buddy. Um, I am really Tampa. Okay, I got time to talk now. Tampa has really been ticking me off this year. They have been the most inconsistent team. 4-2 Bolts. 4-2 Bolts. Losing games that they should. I mean, I guess
McElhenney
they.
was in the net the other night though against
Yeah.
Nashville too.
Well,
So
that's another thing that's ticked me off is Cooper's little games that he plays and putting McElhaney in the last second drive me crazy. I think what he's trying to build up a little adversity into the Lightning players so they don't get comfortable like they did that one year. And I understand it. You know, throw McElhaney in the last second, throw everybody for a loop and see how they respond. So far, not so good.
mhm.
He's done that twice and they've lost both. McElhaney it's over for him. This is it, right? I'm surprised they couldn't find a goaltender to shore up their defense. Anyways, I'm going to kick myself probably, but I'm going to go with the Lightning again. 4-2 Bolts. But I honestly don't know with this game. Florida can win at any time.
They can go either way.
If the Lightning go come out and don't play, like basically now they got to start getting themselves ready for playoff hockey, and too many times they've gone out and their head has been I don't know where, and just look terrible. And then other times they look all right. It's like they just can't get it going this year. This team. We had that theory that they're having a hard time getting up for regular season games, but it's not. It's getting close to not being regular season now, and you want to be hot going in. So, and this is a huge
hmm
game. This is a rivalry game, right?
This
So,
is this is a future playoff series matchup most likely, unless you guys pass Hurricanes in the first divisional spot. This will be the first round matchup between Tampa and Florida. Like that could possibly be a first round matchup between those two teams. So, yeah, this is a big matchup between those two guys. Like this is a big momentum one as well. Both of them, either or, it's going to be a fun game to watch. I always enjoy the Tampa Bay versus Florida games. A lot of high scoring action. It's always a lot of fun. Also, I
Steel
agree
went.
with you implicit. Noah Dobson
Well,
over Evan Bouchard without a doubt, bud.
Noah Dobson. Yeah, exactly.
Without a doubt, bud. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. Um,
Implicit's always stirring the pot. It's freaking hilarious. It was funny. I don't know. It might have been a coincidence, but um, I said that I said basically if the Islanders don't do anything at the deadline before they did something at the deadline, I think they'll lose steam throughout the season because they're playing their guys too much. And
Yeah.
he didn't come back for like 4 days. He was mad at me. He said that's not going to happen. They're not going to lose steam. And then he never said anything else. And I didn't see him back for 4 days. But could have been just a coincidence, maybe. Okay, so I guess everybody wants to guess to get on the Pittsburgh game now.
Yeah, everyone's
Because
so
everybody's so innocent.
this one has Hart versus Tristan Jarry. They're both confirmed in the nets for both Philly and Pittsburgh. Philly, for actually Penguins, they're on a 3-game winning streak right now, absolutely dominating the Rangers and the Devils. And while the Flyers, on the other hand, they have lost their 2 games in the last 2. Now maybe Eric Gustafsson will be maybe will help them, probably not. I think I got to go with the Penguins on this one. The Flyers, they did pretty good off the get-go against the Penguins, but so far the last game the Penguins beat up the Flyers 4-3. So I think I'm gonna go with the Penguins on this one. The Penguins have been playing pretty good over the last couple games. They've been really hot. They just had a 5-game winning streak during last month there, and they were dominating some pretty good teams in the Islanders and a little bit of the Bruins as well. So I think I'm gonna go on this one. The Penguins. I'm gonna go 3-2 Penguins overtime. I'm gonna go overtime on this one. 3-2 Penguins overtime.
Okay, implicit threw in a score for the Islanders. I gotta throw that in there. 4-0 Islanders. Well, that's a big score. Okay, you said 3-2 in overtime?
Yeah, 3-2 in overtime.
Wow. I think Philadelphia is going to give them some. Do you think the Flyers are going to come and play a game tonight?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, did I say Flyers?
No, but I thought it was. I didn't even think it was going to be close.
Oh,
You got it
no,
close.
no. I might as well go with it close. I mean, it probably won't be, but I think it'll probably be a close game. Most of the games between the Flyers and the Penguins have been, pretty tight games between each other through every game. So I think this one will be pretty close. And if Hart maybe has a good game tonight, which who knows, it could possibly be a very close game between the Penguins and the Flyers.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it. I just think the Flyers have no confidence at all right now. They don't have answers in the room. They don't have answers on the ice. Um, I I think you could see some fights in this game. It's
I think so
possible.
too. I think so too. I think it's going to be a grease fest between these
I
two
would
teams.
hope so. I mean, the Flyers. That's There we go. I think we just nailed it. The Flyers haven't played angry
No.
enough, considering the year they've had. They should have been scrapping a lot more. They should have been angry, and that I think that's it. I think the Flyers just are too comfortable with not being good. Uh,
You can see it. They have been looking uncomfortable out there. They're not doing, themselves or lower than what the Rangers are. They need this win tonight to keep themselves alive. But I feel like knowing the Flyers tonight, I just don't have the confidence. Plus Jake Getzel's been on fire with Sid the Kid. I don't think it'll be enough for the Flyers tonight. I think the Penguins will be able to pull it out in overtime. It's going to be a lot of fights, like Joey was saying there. Yes, fight night. Yeah, I think there's going to be some fights in the net. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Coaches' comments blaming it on 6 games and 9 nights. Um, that I don't think a coach should really say that,
But everyone's
but
playing a lot of games too.
I know, but that is tough. Don't get me
It
that,
is.
that six
No.
games and 9 nights is very tough, and a lot of teams aren't going to win in those situations. So
No.
actually, now that you brought that up, when's the last time the Flyers played?
The last time the Flyers played was on the 11th. They took oh no, that's the Penguins. My bad. They haven't played since the 13th. That was the last time they played.
Okay.
So 2 days
Cup,
ago.
they've had a bit of a break, but still the Penguins have also had a bit of a break. So
Penguins haven't
uh,
played since the 11th.
yeah, I got to take the Penguins here. You could be right though, because that was tough. There was the 6 games in 9 nights. They had 5 games in 7 there once, um, and the coach is really just trying to give his players some confidence in mentioning those sort of things. Like, we're trying hard. It's just we're tired. Like, and they're frustrated and tired at the same time. It is tough. You're not there's not too many teams that are going to win the fifth game of 5 games in 7 against any team in the NHL.
No,
I
it's
don't.
pretty hard to, win those. It's pretty hard to get those types of, those schedules. But I mean, a lot of teams have this year. Every team has went through this type of
Sure, but
schedule. The schedule's
I
been
like to see
hell
what the
for a lot of
record for
teams.
every team that
Oh yeah.
played. I bet you the record on that fifth night has not been good.
Oh, probably not. Most teams are probably exhausted by the time you hit that last game. I mean, I remember tournaments playing like, 4 or 5 games in a row. You get to the fifth one, you're just dragging along trying to get it done.
Yeah,
Um, and that's probably how it feels for a lot of those Flyers. And they got a lot of games coming up. I mean, their schedule's not looking relaxed. They got one tonight, 15th, and then they have a back to back on the 17th and 18th, and then another back to back on the 22nd and the 23rd. Like, they got an insane schedule coming up here in this next little bit. It's going to be a hard push, and I don't know. It's going to be some hard hockey for the Flyers to play and get rid of Brian Elliott. Yeah, they definitely need to get rid of Brian Elliott. I don't know why they
well,
keep playing him.
probably he's going to retire. They keep playing him because Carter Hart's confidence is so low. They don't want to crush the kid. And if they're going to lose, they might as well lose with a veteran in there that's pretty much, going off into the sunset anyways.
Practically.
Uh, Hart will be fine. Hart's a 22-year-old kid.
Hart is not
He's
horrible. He's young. He's just having a bad year with some pretty bad defense in front of him. So you can't hate on the goalie on some bad games. He's been playing pretty well this season, or not really well, but he played really well last season. It's just not having a great defensive core in front of him. He'll get
yeah.
better. He's 22. It's just a little stumble.
No, he'll get better if they get some defense to play in front of him. I
Hmm.
mean, they got to get rid of the bronze and Hag is okay, but you don't want to be playing him in the top four role. They got too many guys that can either take the puck off the stick of somebody or move it out.
Uh-huh.
But what they have one, maybe Provorov that can do both.
I think Provorov,
Maybe
yeah,
Sanheim,
Sanheim, yeah, Sanheim's
Sanheim.
out there. Provorov, Sanheim are probably your two best, and then everyone else is just like, defensively.
Well, Myers, yeah,
Myers, oh yeah, Philip Myers as well.
Myers is good, but I mean, those are still very young guys. Is Niskanen really that much to that team? Like, but you know what? It's not just that, because you got to go back to the playoffs where they barely beat. They didn't even deserve to beat Montreal that year,
No, they didn't.
or
They
last year.
they
It was
were
Carter Hart last year was the reason.
Yeah, that was the only reason why they won that series was because of Carter Hart. Like, legit, I remember that Montreal would have beat Philly if Carter Hart wasn't there, and without a doubt, I mean that's why they lost in the second round was because they couldn't be a team. And you've seen that there was some, waving signs that this team is not a good team there in Philly, and
Yeah,
you're really starting to see it this year. You really, really are.
yeah. It's the whole organization because their answer to their poor playoff performance was to spend $3 million on Gustafsson. That is just
Oh,
ridiculous.
without a doubt.
I don't even. When I saw that, I was just like, wow. And I had to do. I was doing podcasts with guys that were talking about it and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk bad about Philly in a Philly podcast, but I mean, that was like it's just there's no excuse for that contract. I cannot. There's no excuse for that contract at all.
Yeah, that was
I
a
was
mystery signing. It was like I think they were just, they were having some darts and they were throwing at the board like, "Oh, who do we want?" Oh,
well,
Eric Gustin.
their power play struggled, so they went and got Gustafson.
But you had Provorov, you had Goss to spare, you had guys who, played offensively. that could potentially play on that power play. Maybe you start looking internally. You start looking at your coaches, be like, well, maybe this assistant coach is not, given that, proper
Well,
PK or
didn't they
power play
fire all
strategy.
their assistants and then rehire them last year? I thought they did.
Maybe,
They did.
maybe.
So that didn't work.
But
Uh,
Gustin just didn't work.
AV, no, he wasn't. That was bound to not work.
It
I
was,
mean,
oh
you
yeah, it
only
was
had to watch
destiny.
him. You only had to watch him. That was it. And then giving Braun 2 years. What? Why? Why? They because Niskanen re- retired, and they didn't see that coming,
Yeah.
and they overreacted.
Oh, they did.
I would have rather them. I mean, there's so many defensemen they could have got better than
Mhm.
that. Even like Merrill, you know,
Oh,
or
he would have been
something.
better. It's just get
Yeah,
someone that's better defensively instead of Justin Braun or whatever. Just get somebody. I mean, yeah, they relied a lot on their younger guys, and losing Niskanen was pretty big because he was a veteran guy there. And then they panic and pick up Gustin, which just was not the smartest idea. You just look at one side of his analytics, and you can see that he's not even that good even strength offensively. He had that one good off year with Chicago, and then that's really been it. He's a giveaway master, and that's really what he's good for, is giving away the puck and giving you sometimes some occasionally good offense.
yeah. On the other side of the ledger, how are the Penguins doing it this year?
What, this year defensively?
Just how are they doing it this year? On paper, this team shouldn't be doing as well as they are.
No, they're surprisingly good this year. They're third in goals for, 14th in goals against this year, which me and you thought they were going to be bottom of the league in goals
Yeah.
against. But Getzel's been having an insane season, even with Malkin out of the lineup. They got Kapanen going. I think Jeff Carter will be in the lineup tonight as well, so we'll have to see how well he
Oh,
does against the
that'd be
Flyers as
cool.
well. See
Hmm.
how well Jeff Carter does. They're just a chippy team, man. They got a lot of good depth scoring. Like, I mean, they got 15 guys that have over 10 points right now. And not just
Yeah.
that, they got four guys over 10 goals. And if Malkin was in the lineup, that'd be another one over 10 goals this year.
And when you looked at their roster before the season started, when I didn't see that, but they seem to do this all the
Hmm.
time. Sullivan is a great coach. He really
Yes.
is. I think the Flyers are worse than Buffalo right now, probably from what we've seen recently. But like I said, that 5 games in 7, you just reminded me of that. You might have a point. There could be a tighter game than I thought with that. I can't watch Carter tear up my Flyers. I talk about Carter Hart. The poor kid, really.
Yeah, I feel bad for Carter Hart, not having that defensive core in front of him that's actually competent. It's it's rough there in Philly. I feel bad for them because they were not looking like too bad of a team to start off the season, and then they just slowly went downhill, and then the defensive numbers started catching up with them, and you
Oh,
know they're not playing the guys who they should be.
oh, now I understand what he means. He's talking about Carter, like Jeff Carter.
Oh,
Carter, yeah. So yeah, he probably will tear up the Flyers tonight. Actually,
against his old former team, that would be funny.
yeah, he's going to be
Absolutely.
driven to do that.
I don't
And
know. Carter Hart's been these past a little bit,
Jeff
isn't he?
Carter, yeah, I know, but it's just the whole. It always seems to work that way.
But usually the first game in, I mean, well, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, Jeff Carter only had 19 points in 40 games this season, so we'll have to see how well he does. Also, isn't he still getting paid like $5 million a year? Oh no, I guess he's retained to like two, but he's being paid for like the next this year and next year, I think.
Are you a Capitals fan, Kyle? You should have been in here earlier. We did lots of Capitals talk. Who's? Oh yeah, is he? I think he is. He getting paid next year too?
I think so. I think he is getting paid next year.
How the heck are they going to accomplish that?
Yeah,
I'd
Jeff.
have.
Well, he's half retained. They're only paying him 2.6.
Oh, okay. So they're working him under the cap.
Yeah.
We because CL Washington's going to clobber Buffalo tonight.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I'd be
basically it. Washington.
Cars.
We talked about how good Mantha was of a good pickup, how was really strong, and he's going to be really good. They're facing up against Buffalo. Should be an easy dub for Washington.
The only way it's not is because sometimes Washington can play down to their competition. Maybe, that's about the only reason I could see it. It would be, it'd be catastrophic. Not catastrophic. They'd be okay, and that's the problem. If Washington loses this game, it's not the end of the world for them. And maybe they just take them lightly or whatever, go out the
Hmm.
night before, stuff like that. Uh, oh, you're a Bees fan? Oh, okay. We also, as far as the Bees are concerned, we're pretty much split on that. I kind of lean the Bees simply because of Rask, but I could definitely see the Islanders winning that game.
I like the
Um,
Islanders winning that game against the Bruins. That's who I chose for that one. I think the Bruins have been good, but they need to get that offensive power going.
you got them at -1, or got them at one, number one to win in the playoffs this year. They're still getting like some ridiculous odds to win the cup still. They were my pick when I was talking about futures people
Hmm.
to win the cup. They were getting like 24-1 or something like that. I thought that's pretty good odds
Hmm.
for the Caps to win. And I think there's 16 or 18-1 still. I don't know why they're going that. I could see the Washington Capitals winning the cup this year. Why not? They get Samsonov going. That's the big thing with them. Is their goaltending going to hold up?
That's the biggest thing. I mean, Vanasek has been playing pretty well, and then you also got Samsonov. So honestly I don't think it's a bad idea. Going with those two guys. Vitek Vanasek has been pretty good this year. Samsonov has been pretty solid as well. Um, I think the Washington Capitals
Okay.
could go deep, but it could come back to bite them.
Oh, Caps -1. Okay, yeah, right.
Okay.
-185. Yeah, for the money line. On the money line, I got it in I like in regulation on that. Anyways, or PL for that matter. Oh no, -1 for 185. Okay, I got
Mm-hmm.
you. I guess that's it. We got her in, Peyton. We did her. We're
Woo!
so tomorrow. Again, it's the same sort of routine. We're gonna look at who's winning, who got all the. We got all the games in, right? We did catch all the games.
I think there was still a couple that we did miss there. The Leafs and Jets,
Oh my gosh! Why? Why did
and
we miss?
then and then I think the Red Wings, Blackhawks, and the Columbus and Stars.
Oh my gosh! Holy crap!
When I
Why did
do
I do that?
when I do
Let's
a
do them.
quick
Let's do them
overview.
quick. Let's do them quick.
All right, Jets, Leafs, Hellebuck and Campbell, I think, are in the net tonight. So that's their starting goalies there. Winnipeg hasn't done too well in the last two against the Maple Leafs, and I feel with everything that's going on with the Leafs, they need a bounce back win. They didn't do too well in the last one. I feel like I'm gonna go with the Jets on this one though, 3-2 for the Jets.
This is almost not fair. Everybody took off.
I think so. Well, we
Yeah.
can do
You know
this one.
what?
We can just do
Okay.
the Jets and Leafs, and then just leave it at that.
Okay. I don't know why. What I was thinking. Leafs three
Oh, there we
two.
go. Pouring in. Kyle got 3-2 Leafs, 6-3 Leafs for CL, 4-3 Leafs for Bill.
I'm surprised somebody in the chat didn't remind me there was more games. I don't know what I was thinking.
We kind of got lost in the topic with Philly.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought for some reason I thought that was all the games. I wasn't looking at the thing.
Oh,
Weird. That's weird. Kyle H 4-2 Jets.
and then Blackhawks and the Red Wings.
Matthews out. Nylander out. Felino out. Really?
Well, yeah,
I didn't know
Flano's out
that.
because of quarantine.
Yeah, I
Nylander's
know
out because
that.
of COVID, I think, and Matthews is out because of an upper body injury, I heard.
Wow, that changes thing.
So
Okay, I'm
that's
gonna
I think I'm
go.
gonna go with the Jets on that one.
Okay, Peyton Jets 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 Jets. 3-2 Jets.
I'm gonna take the Jets 4-3. I don't
And
know
Joey
why.
says OT, OT, OT for Perlo.
Joey Serrano 4-3 Jets.
Roar.
Yeah, we got to get going. Sorry, guys. I forgot about all the games. That was terrible. I don't know what I was doing, but I got to get going here. That was great. Thank you, everybody. Well, we still got games in. We got points to do for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry I didn't get to the rest of them. I don't know what I was thinking,
It's
but
only the Blackhawks and Red Wings and the Blue Jackets and Stars. Not too many big games at the end of the night. So
yeah, that's our full 42. Be here tomorrow. We'll see who's in the. Nah, it's all right. Hockey News reports we missed 2 games. I don't know what I was thinking. We didn't do all the games for some reason. We got chatting, but we got to get going. Have a great day, everybody.
have a good one, guys.
Talk to you tomorrow. Lots of to you. Okay, bye.